Good afternoon, you are there. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And Friday. Well, now your exams going to be having on 4th, December 4th, from 2 to 5, right? 2 to 5 at IBSL head office, right? So somebody requested about last year's paper. I think now they will do the needful, right? Now they are going to load the last year paper, because why they have not released, because the exam results are not out now for the last session. So now it is finalized, and I told him to release your paper, and they will release the exam paper. Now you noted that your exam paper, in my case, there are two questions. Basically, I simply ask some questions, but if you receive, just tell me. I want to do little changes, because last time the assignments also gave by me, so therefore I make it little bit of easier about the paper. But that doesn't mean this year is going to tough, but we will see, right? Right. So we are going to finish today, right? So today we are going to cover the entire uh, section, and if you want, you ask some questions. What area you interested? I will see whether I can see the 1 minute. Huh? I can see whether what how can I help you all, right? Right. Okay. So now, as now these people just communicated to me, your exam is on 4th 12, right? December 4th, 2 to 5 here at IBSL. Right. It is put you in the notice board also. Right. Now let me explain today's our final session. So what we are going to discuss about the relationships, and what we are going to discuss about some models, how you can use some models, right now. Basically, uh, right now you see these now custom experience, we short versions, we call them as CX, right? So in the modern way, the customer experience abbreviated with CX. Wherever you see the CX is usually talk about customer experience, right? If you see any article about the CX, that CX mean customer experience. Now CX has identified as the next competitive battleground. Right now, is a lot of people are more concentrating on CX. So competitor can be uh, addressed by other institution by providing a better CX. So the next competitive battleground, therefore, CX, right? Now, customer experience is an aggregate impact of all interaction that a customer has within an organization. Right? If you put it in a very nutshell, customer experience is an integrate impact of all the interactions that a customer has with an organization. Now, in other words, it refers to an overall exposure of a customer, is referring overall exposure of a customer with an organization's product and services, its people, and also its processes, or any other outputs, right? So you can say refers to an organizational uh, product, services, people, processes, and output, and where the customer is exposure. Right now, this customer experience, this concept is developed in 1988, right? It's not so old. All the CRMs are not old, right? And this customer experience developed by two persons we'll call uh, Pine and Gilmore, Pine, Gilmore, right? And they have introduced or presented an article published in Harvard Business Review about the customer experience. That is after that only the customer experience is adapted by many organization. Now, now according to these two gentlemen, what they identify customer experience is an basically exchange. What is the exchange? They said broadly it is an exchange of stimuli, information, feeling between organization and customers. That's what they say, right? It's some sort of a stimuli, informations, and feeling between organizations and customers. They identify it as a customer experience, right? There may be after that there may be a lot of definitions and additions came, right? And this is how the customer experience evolved. Of course, it's an integral part of CRM, right? So that's of course that's what we are learning, and we know the customers are increasingly sophisticated. We discussed that one earlier, and why they become sophisticated due to various reasons, because of their knowledge increase, because of technical savvy, earning incomes, right? They may exposed to a lot of other external informations, so they become more sophisticated. So as a sophisticated customer, what are you expecting, right? And you're expecting a seamless and well-designed customer experience, no matter how they interact with the company. They're expecting a lot of experience to be shared, right? But these what is CRM is, what is modern onboarding organization is look at with the customer is to convert new client into the regular customers, then retain royal customers with you all, as well as bring back lapsed customers to mix into the system. That is what CRM is basically expecting. So the customer experience will add value, like what we have learned last week, right? How you create values. Okay, so companies of all steps have invested heavily in tools and technologies, right, to help them to understand their customers are more deeply and to gain the advantage of superior customer experience. So in CRM, we discussed earlier, is a more or less strategy and technological driven business. Now we use technology and people also to provide a superior customer experience. Now, but however, many organizations may be not in a position to understand what is basically customer experience is. Now, how customer experience can create value to the customers, right? And in fact, recent COVID-19, right? And of course, though everybody is regarding COVID-19, yes, of course, it impact our day-to-day life, our work environment, and well as the economy, everything. But there are positive sides of the COVID-19 also. One positive side is, okay, CRM may, right, facilitate to, I mean, address those issues. And other one is the technology. People are tend to use forcefully, tend to adapt some of the new technological development. Otherwise, they may comfortable with the existing issues or existing environment, but now they have to relook at it, right? And one of the area we have benefited through this COVID-19 is basically about the customer experience. Now, This was shown not because of COVID-19. Now we had 2009 great financial crisis, right? During that economic recession, now companies who have prioritized the customer experiences. So some of the initiative or strategies or method they use, and they have noted that there are three times improved their shareholder returns compared to people who have not done any customer experience, right? So therefore, having understood the rationale behind, a lot of banks and a lot of institutions and try to understand and develop a lot of customer experience strategies. Now, also you need to remember the CX is a customer subjective response, right, to the holistic and direct and indirect encounter with firms, right? It's a very subjective response. How customers are, it is very difficult to, objectively respond, right? So CX is a basically customer subjective response. You can measure to some extent, but it is a very subjective. It cannot be quantified easily. That may be the another area. This is not so understood by many people, right? So with this backdrop, right? With this backdrop, so let me try to explain what is a customer experience is all about, right? Customer experience is all about. Right. Now, customer experience, as you know, as just mentioned here, and it is can be defined as the sum total of experiences that a customer perceives through mind about an organization's products, services, process, everything. Right? That is customer experience. Total experiences that a customer perceives through a mind about an organization, product and services and processes, right? Everything. So therefore, your products, your services, your processes, how you offering to the customer, and they get an idea about your organization. So that is total, sum total of experiences, right? So this level of experience customer derives also depend on the attributes of the product delivered. So that is why we keep on add values to our existing product, right? We try to augment the product, right? Because it's give some experience, right? You know, the level of experience is high, and you know it would result in retaining and satisfying our existing customer, right? That means the customer experience and customer retention and satisfaction. So therefore, it's have a positive relationship. So if you look at it the other way around, right? If the customer experience is low, so what happened? So maybe losing our valuable customer. So therefore, it is very easy to, lose the customer, but you know, very difficult to bring the customer into the mainstream. So therefore, customer experience therefore playing an important role. So now let's look at it 3D approach for achieving a high level of customer experience. So they need to look at it 3D. So that is 3D mean designing. So we need to design a right offer product in terms of quality, in terms of price, in terms of service, whatever. Then delivering value, not only developing the right offer, but you need to provide the delivery. delivering their value. So involves providing set of products, advantages to customers, excellent customer support, after sales service. Now we know about our buying process. So you know the buying process. So a lot of people are, the moment you purchase, usually what is the buying process? You search for more. You have a problem, you search for alternatives, and you select the best alternative, and then you purchase. A lot of buying process, lot of organizations stop from there. So today what we are expecting to go beyond that, right? It is not till such time your customer is there, you have to follow him and do the services, right? So we discussed last time, remember the guarantees and warranties and things like that. Why? Because of that. Then developing potential. And also what we need to continuous improve our profits, continuous improve our product, continuous offer our feedback. That's the important thing. So regular customer feedback policy, and it's a successful factor. So a lot of people are thinking the feedback is not a good thing, but continuous feedback, whether good or wrong or good or bad, is another important area. We need to look at it, customer experience. Then only we get to know whether he has really experienced our services, right? Okay. Now, as is customer experience, therefore, it's now up to this point, whatever we have discussed so far, it can be seen that it is important for an organization to manage customer experience, right? So the customer experience management, therefore, is a domain of CRM that deals with the collections of processes used by organization, maybe to record, observe, and organize every intention that take place between a customer and the organization, right? Sometimes we may put some our camera for certain other purposes, but now camera also tells you so how the customers are behave. Now in supermarket, there are some camera fitting to the for see how customer behave in an organization, right? To track them, what sort of channels they are going for, by which self they are going to stop, things like that. Okay, right. So important in here in CRM, that means the customer experience management. So they encompasses three important aspects. The three important aspects are touch points, right? Touch points. Second one, moment of truth and engagement. So if you want to develop or improve your customer experience, so what you need to look at it, touch points, moment of truth, engagement. Now let me explain now little bit of this touch point. And first we try to understand very simply what is this touch point is, and then we are going to discuss a little more in detail uh, what is these three encompasses. Right. Now, touch points referring to a situation when customers come into contact with an organization, product, services, place, people, processes, and technologies. Right? That's a simple definition for touch points. Then moment of truth creates an impression on a customers about an organization. It can impress in many ways, but whatever, that's a moment of truth. The last one is engagement, involves creating a customer's emotional and rational response to an organization based on the moment of truth and touch point. What we have gained through your touch point, and it's a rational as well as emotional. And last couple of lessons we discussed, every customer is not a rational customer, but every customer is some sort of emotional customer, right? That is why we in a position to sell our product to those customers. If a customer rationally behave like what we learn in our A levels and other areas, right? Take some assumption, customer is always behave as a rational. But in CRM we discuss customers are very rarely behave in a rational manner. Most of the customers, emotional customers, right? So that's why our product selling is very easy. Right. Now let me briefly explain. Now I have already discussed with you what is touch point. So let me now look at it in a more broad aspects of touch points. Now think about your bank. Okay. Now suppose a customer who having a deposit 5 million money, right? Think about the customer have a 5 million rupees. Do you want to deposit? Say sophisticated. Now we have to assume those all the sophisticated customers. So what sort of customer touch points customer may experience? Can someone share it with me? Right? Suppose if a customer, right? Suppose it's a customer going to deposit some money, right? 5 million is having. Okay, want to deposit that deposit with your any bank, right? So what sort of touch points he may go through according to your understanding? දැන් මා ගාව සල්ලි තියෙනවා මෙච්චරක් මම මේක හරි දාන්න යනවා. එතකොට මොකද්ද මට තියෙන ටච් පොයින්ට්ස් මොනවාද? කස්ටමර් මේ සල්ලි ගැන බලන බැංකුව ගැන හොයනකොට තියෙන ටච් පොයින්ට්ස්. සම්පත් මොකක්ද තියෙන ටච් පොයින්ට්ස්?
Websites.
Yeah, of course, good websites. They look at first the website. Fantastic. So
Security
apart
for their money.
maybe advertisements, maybe, right? Okay, so what they look at it. So then you start it from your website. They will look at it what? They may look at it interest rate. Then first, what is the first touch point? Your website. So your website may be easy to attend and easy to collect information, easy to see, easy to access, everything, no? Make a gaga system now you see some companies are paying, no? Then what are the Sri Lankan banks right? You noted that every time some banks are perform. Some banks are not even, not popular, but that comes out. So there are people who to do every time they have to keep number list of your website. Okay, so first website, then they look at it interest rate, and from that they will easy to look at it. Okay, what are the interest rates, right? Then they look at it. Okay, next. Okay, having understood. Okay, then they may look at it. What is a branch? What is a branch I'm going to put it? They will also look at it, right? If suppose he will go to manually, he may look at it, the branch. Okay, which branch I am going to go? Then let's look at the branch. Then you look at the other factors. What are other factors? Whether I have the parking facilities, right? Whether I can access to the branch easily. Those are touch points of customers, right? And then the moment you enter into the brand, they look at it. Okay, how convenience? What are sort of forms you need to fill? Then now a lot of banks are now electronically also open FDs, right? Now I know some banks. I don't know about your bank. If you open your FD through using your internet, right? So they give you a 0.05% in more than 0.5% more than interest. So I think I don't know whether you are working into that bank. Kaushalya, which bank you are working, Puta?
Hello?
Kaushalya, which bank you
Bank
are
of
working? Huh?
Bank
Bank
of
of
Sri
Sri.
Lanka.
Right. You won't give extra percentage, no? I don't think. No, no.
No,
Right. No point. So anybody who's working in commercial banks, right, and they're offering. So if they open a FD via the electronic form, they give high interest rate. Little, I think, 0.5% or something. So imagine today. So these are the some of the touch points the customer maybe not known, but there are some instances, right? I think commercial bank is doing. I know definitely because I was requested to open. That's what I also get to know if you want to open LC, open FD. So he said I will give you a little more interest rate than that. So these are some of the points when it comes to the branch for open an account. Then they may look at it. Okay, they also look at it then form fillings and all, right? So therefore, you noted in the customer's journey, right? Uh, how many touch points the customer get to know. These are customer experience, right? These are what you call customer experience. So, have you ever tried to understand all these things, right? What are the touch points, right? Okay, touch points include the service centers, contact centers, exhibitions, trade shows, whatever, retail stores, call centers, right? However, these touch points vary across different organizations. Can be vary from bank to another organization, but every time you need to understand if you're going for a customer experience strategy, what are the touch points? Try to analyze each and every touch points. Right now, say for if a customer goes to the hospital, what are the touch points? Main touch points and some other touch points, right? The admissions, how then the ward, surgery or discharge. Now, sometimes even for a lot of private sector hospital, so admission is easy, but when you go for a discharge, very difficult. Get the bill, my goodness, sometimes you need to wait because person who comes to the hospital, right? If he want to leave, he want to go immediately. That's a human being. A lot of people have not understand that part. For admission, they may wait because he came for treatment. No, he may tolerate for admission getting late, but for a discharge, he may not tolerate. Now you look at it, small things. I think you also the same. If you admission, yeah, you can wait till have a good bed or room or whatever you can tolerate. But for a discharge, the moment the doctor say go, so you need to immediately go. But most of the time, admission is good, but the discharge part is very, your touch point is very weak. So those are the experiences, right? And take an example for restaurant. Now, what are the customer chat point? Food from ambience, food, hygiene, so all are look at it. Every organizations today basically analyze their touch points, right? Wherever the customers are meeting. So we call touch points, right? So touch points play an important role. So if you look at it, types of service encounters or touch point, and Stockstex in 1985 identify three type of service encounters usually generally. One is maybe remote counters, that when customer contact with organization is through impersonal means, often through electronic interactions, uh, through some ATMs or internet. You imagine this, if these things are not working, so what is the mind experience and bad relationship they build up? Then the phone encounters. So if you look at it, the call center, my goodness, that's a terrible. But now I will honestly ask from you, if you can, if you want to do a research, right, personal, Don't talk to your own call center. You talk to your own call center, talk to your competitor call centers, and you see the difference, right? How call centers differences, right? So do it yourself if you are a manager or higher grade officer. Call your own bank call center and call the competitors, banks as well as other non-bank institution as well. And remember, and always better to have a benchmarking. Now, benchmarking not necessary to have your same industry. So benchmarking is always better for you to look at other similar industries as not not similar at all. You see some of the things you can get it, some of the improvements. Now you can judge yourself. And that's a customer encounter. No? Suppose if a customer want to contact the call center and ask some information without going to the web and all, right? If he say, now these days they are, all the banks are having something, right? They are saying due to some COVID, they saying we can't provide services, and those are bullshit, right? Honestly, I mean, I can't understand some banks are having saying that due to coronavirus or something, only limited services can be offered. I mean, this is the time we need to have a better call center facilities, right? So I read an article recently, right? Because of coronavirus, I don't know whether it is there here, put it down. Coronavirus become all the branches of there, right? During that pandemic issue, all the branches act as a call center because customers are not need to come to no I mean difficulties of coming to these things, and some offices are linked to the branch network, and all the branches and all the employees are act as a call center. And that is what, because the people who are in the house in home also has a lot of stress, right? If you find solution, when you bank at least with me during my bad times, then some are saying we can't give services to this thing. You dial will you, and then some people are telling due to limited staff now you can't tell all these bullshits, right? Now you look at it, so the encounters and the touch points, very simple thing. Then what is why we are having call centers if you can not answering or not getting contact? Or otherwise they would all are busy, all our customers are, we will put into the next customer, I think never happened. Right. So next is the face-to-face encounters. There are direct personal contact between customers and employee. These are the three type of service encounter, and these encounters can be further divided. Right. Now I think you understand what importance of touch points. Right. Now if you want to do your bank, so look at it. Take every step with a loan customer comes or FD customer, whatever the services you analyze. Right. Then the moment of truth. Now the moment of truth occurs when a customer interacts during touch points. Right? The moment of truth occurs when a customer interacts during touch points. Now this concept was introduced by Richard Norman, and it's a service experience. You should have many moment of truth, which may include different type of service interactions, right? So during the moment of truth, the customer may form a positive or a negative impression about the organization based on his or her personal experience. Now, say for an example, organization to register a complaint regarding a product. In such cases, if the organizations fail to solve customers' query, and suppose if you lost your card or somebody has taken, if you try to contact your call center and inform to stop my credit card transactions imaging, if you're not in a position to get in touch with some person, what is the situation, right? So these are the important things as the banks are concerned. So therefore, remember, moment of truth also play an important. And the third one is what you call the customer engagement. Right. Now, customer engagement play an important role. Right. Now, customer engagement means creating a customer's emotional and rational response to the organization based on the moment of truth and touch points. So, what are the dimensions of customer engagement? Now, think about. I will just tell you. Think about online branding. Think about online branding. So likes. So you get the customers involving in your businesses. And think about hashtag, right? So it is A and B, B and B heavily used, and even for Cathay Pacifics are using, right? And you see, you don't want to do anything. The customer will talk about yourself, right? So he shares his experience. Now you look at it, customers' feedback, all these things. They tell you about this good service, bad service, blah blah. So they are talking about the experiments, experiences. So therefore, engagement tracking can do now, right? Through social Wi-Fi. So engagement therefore play an important role in customer experience as well as online branding also, right? You see, so you don't want to do anything. The customer will talk about yourself. So you can save a lot of money if you have a better customer engagement, right? That's why a lot of organizations are using like likes, hashtags and all, hashtagging, right? So they talk about your organization, sharing your experience, positive and bad things, right? So that's a good thing. Okay, let's look at it. What are the dimensions of customer engagement? One is a cognitive, emotional, behavioral, and social. Now, what is cognitive? Now, cognitive mean now first, does the customer know your brand values? Right? Does the customer know about our sustainability award? So how much what we got it and like that, right? At least customers are aware who is our branch manager name. How many of your staff, how many of your customers have just really simple thing? Why don't you try this one? Just do that. How many of your branch customers are aware the branch manager's name? I have done a test for that, right? I mean, these are novel things, less cost, right? Simple, right? How many of your customers are know your manager's name? I mean, okay, forget about other people. May be difficult to remember all things. At least the manager's name. Have you done any testing on that? So why don't you? Right? These are new CX initiatives, right? That show so you know you are getting close to customers, right? So then the behavioral aspect or the emotional aspects. What is emotional aspects? Right? It's a dimension of engagement. Now, whether the customers are like the manner in which the experiences offered by our branch, we can use in the branch level, branch. right? Whether you're happy with the manner in which your organization layout was arranged, right? Okay. So then the behavioral aspects. How often does the customer visit your website? Right now, you see in today, now certain website even identify, right now you visit one website today, right? And if you moved again and they say thank you, so your last visit of this website and such a day, you have visited this website 3 times, or you have visited this website on such and such a day. So you see now these websites are telling, so you can track all these things, and you telling also to the customer, and also you can track all these things, right? Okay. So how long the customer is dwelling in your website, right? So all a behavioral engagement. So customer is really engaged with your banks, right? Then social aspects, customer engagement. So customer, you can have the customers like our Facebook page, customer whether you join in Twitter conversation, right? How many of you use this modern social media platform to involving in customer engagement? So a lot of IT facilities platforms are available today, right, for customer engagement, right? Then we look at it, the measuring of CX involvement. Now, unique site visits, so advertising impressions, website page views, as I explained to you, spend per sessions, time spent per page, right? In-store visits, newsletter subscriptions, or whatever, you can measure the customer engagement, the inform sort of an involvement. Then the interactions, first time purchases, right now the video played, community contributions, voluntary registrations, right? And some loyalty card registrations. So that is his interaction with you. So these are some of the measurement you can do through engagement. And intimacy. So you can have the satisfaction score like you're preparing for credit score. So you can have a satisfaction scores. Sentiment in blog and social media posts. What sort of post they put it, right? So that's the intimacy part. Then the influence, content forwarded, right? Word of mouth, creations of user generated word of mouth. So invitations to join, right? So some of the things you can use to customers to get engagement. For customer, therefore experience, if you have a good touch points, then word of moment of truth and engagement. You see to what extent you can make use of these 3 things to provide them a better customer services. Right. What are the methods you may use to improve your customer experiences? What are the methods used for improving your customer experiences? Right? Now, it is important for an organization to achieve a higher level of customer experience. You can use some different methods for improving customer experiences. Let's look at it. What are the methods you can use to improve your performances, custom experiences. Right, just look at it. One is mystery shopping, experience mapping, then process mapping, customer activity cycle, participant and non-participant observation. So these are some of the methods you can use for custom experiences. Right? Now, let me try to understand or try to explain one by one. Now, these mystery shopping, it is not a new thing. No, I think that's a very famous thing. And you using as a dummy, basically, right? You use as a tool that is used by a market research organization to understand customer experiences, right? Now, what under the mystery shopping? Lot of bank, I know, I think the one bank called HNB used one time heavy on mystery shopping to check whether their experiences, custom experiences, because they use a dummy as a customer and visit the branch and get their own experience. Now, this method is heavily used in especially the business to consumer sectors like banks, hotels, retail outlets. Yeah, the experience, right? Some of the important tools used in the mystery shopping methods are maybe sometimes video recording, right? Audio and things like that. But even for that, you yourself. Now, this is very famous methods used by King's time, no? අර සජෝර් රජතුමා අපි කතා කරන රජතුමා වෙස්වලාගෙන ගෙවල් ගානේ ගිහිල්ලා හැව්වා කොහොමද රටේ තත්ත්වය රටවැසියා සුවෙන්ද රටවැසියා සනීපෙන් දින්නේ කිව්වම ඉතින් it's sort of a mystery shopping. Customers experience about that life experience. අම්මෝ ජීවත් වෙන්න දල්ලි නෑ අපිට කන්න බොන්න නෑ like that. That is the experience which may be shared, right? So if you want to improve the custom experience, you can make use of a dummy as a customer, or even sometimes now in your case you can't do because you can be identified. So therefore you make use of some people to feel what then you'll ask from person after that visits how you feel it about the customer. Then he said, oh, terrible. They said terribles, right? So that's how we experience. That is the mystery shopping. Then you have experience mapping, right? Now this method is basically used to gain a deep understanding about customer experience and customer touch points. Now what is this method is doing? So you may have a focus groups, maybe face-to-face interviews and telephone interviews, and you try to get some views on that, right? That is what you call experience mapping. You may conduct some strategy. Okay, let me try to explain this experience mapping, right? Now think about a person starting from make reservation, hotel industry, I will tell you, make reservation. Then he arrive at hotel, then stay in hotel and leave the hotel. Like hospital is the experience mapping. Make reservation, arrival at hotel, stay in hotel, leave the hotel. Now you can develop a map. Now, for example, arrive at hotel. Right now, what is happening in the Ravat hotel? You park your car, or you maybe give valet park, right? And then you're checking, and then back to room. So that's the arrival at hotel. Then you can further look at it. Checking. What is checking? Greeting, right? Checking is greeting. Sometimes the greeting start with the doorstep, right? Now, I don't know whether I have shared with you. Now, usually we noted that hotels, the check-in counter little away, from the main door. Sometimes the doorkeeper, they are, right? One fellow is open the door and this. We have noted that. He has noted that and he's talk on that. Had a chat with him, that person who's coming, because little far distance, right, to go, and that bell person uh, coming with that the guest, and while they are coming, they had a chat with that. So this is your first time to Sri Lanka, right? And they said, yeah, this is my first visit to Sri Lanka. Or may they tell, okay, this is the my second time. Oh, I have been to Sri Lanka. These are two simple questions asked by the uh, that person. Now, so while you're working towards that counter, right, that corner guy or the reception will look at him and he shows some things. One, two, like this. One, two. Right? He show. That's all he won't say. Now, what is selling? He is communicating to the receptionist or the check-in counter girl or boy. He's the first time visit Sri Lanka or the second time visit Sri Lanka. Then his address is different. What is saying? When he's reaching the check-in counter, he said, okay, if you the newcomer, right, welcome to Sri Lanka. I'm happy. Or he may be the second time he has announced like this, welcome back to Sri Lanka. Right. That workers get, oh, they're happy. Simple thing. Right? So you have to map everything. Right. Now, say for an example, where I stop from the checking, greetings, request for reservation details, then swipe the card usually, register, hand over the key, thank you. That's normal. From the request reservation detail, what does the customer wants to happen? What should the receptionist do? What skills, knowledge, attitudes, and need of people? What technology support is request? So all are example of hotel experience mapping. If you want to improve experience, this is what I gave. Now that is why sometimes banks also adapting. Some banks are adapting. There's what you call the relationship officer. So they come and talk to you all and ask what is the problem, how can I mean, he will attend to that. Or otherwise he will tell, if you're not interested, go the deposit in the machine. Right? That text. Right. So these are the some of the experience mapping. But what are the advantages of using an experience mapping? Right. So it helps an organization to identify the ways of making customers satisfied and scope of improvement of custom experiences, and organization to identify the emotional and psychological need of customers. And some people are very happy. So that means, even though I'm not stayed in this hotel, suppose he may be stayed in this hotel, but he has not communicated to you all earlier. He's come for online, I mean, on the spot But still you don't know who is this gentleman, even though you have the online booking, right? Okay, so helping analyzing the overall customer experience by through experience mapping, right? The third methods, it's what you call process mapping, right? Process mapping is referring to a method that provides some sort of a graphical representations of a process to be performed for delivering good customer experience. Example, we have quoted from inform the customer, customize the product, transact the order, deliver the order, support the customer after sales service. Now, it is, we may use this to what you call sometime uh, ethnographic methods. Now, what is ethnographic method? And it is used to obtain the better understanding of social cultural context of customer experience by watching and asking, right? That is sometimes we call uh, ethnographic method, right? Ask and watch, both, right? So this is another methods you can use to improve your customer experience. Then the fourth method is what you call a customer activity cycle, right? In this customer activity cycle represent stages that a customer undergoes while making buying decision, right? Now, this is, you can see uh, when you go for buy a jewelry, right? So he has not took a decision, buying decision, but he has usually undergoing certain stages. Now, usually, whatever the place, the custom activity cycle is divided into three stages, right? Deciding what to do, implementing the decision, and reviewing what was done. Now, involves making decisions such as what product to be purchased and from where and all. The implementing the decision involves in purchasing the product. Reviewing involves comparing the desired product attributes with the actually received attributes. So some organizations generally strive to record customer experience at each stage of the customer activity cycle, right? How he behaves and how you purchase, what factors they look at it to purchase, and things like that. The next method, participant and non-participant observation. So this is an important method also you can make use of to improve your experiences. Now, participant observation is a tool used by an organization to record customer experience by interacting directly with customers. Now, that is why sometimes when you call center and they said for better customer service, we are recording your conservation. That's opt-in opt. So sometimes in Sri Lanka is not so uh, legally bind, but some other countries, what you call, you have to get the opt-in observation, opt-in, opt opt in. You need to get a concern from customer, right? You can't just record what you are telling. That is called opt-in. You have to get the permission from customer and you're going to record, right? But in today, Sri Lanka, not much having, but they're saying they inform. Now, another important things I want to tell you, sometimes some people, dirty people, are do things like this. They want to talk to some other party, and there is some with you, there's another party. Now, is called that party, the C party. Now, A be there. A may be the GM. B may be the chairman. There's another guy, C, one of the another AGMO, DGMO, whoever. Now, B and C talked, and chairman want to call, or maybe GM want to call that person. Usually the chairman calls, right? Call the AGMO and ask something. Now he's put on the what you call mic on, right? Speaker is on. Now whatever you are telling, what you're telling from the other end can be listened by the third party, right? Something you're telling, listened by the third party. Now, do you agree that sort of things? No. Usually, if you do things like that, right, you must tell the third party you're on microphone, speakerphone. So the moment, if you say it's a speakerphone, if you're telling speakerphone, other end need to be understand there is somebody is also in that room with chairman or whoever, right? It is a gentleman manner in which he has to tell. Otherwise, from that end, he has to make use of his own experience. The moment you put in speaker, you can just see there's something, you are on the speaker phone, right? Okay, so its participant observation is tool use an organization to record customer experience by interacting directly with customers. Now, in this method, marketers directly interact with customers by conducting customer surveys, attending customer calls, and learning. Right? So that's your telling and doing. On the other hand, non-participant observation is an indirect method of recording customer experience. So what is this method is doing? Does not conduct a direct interaction with customer, but observe customer experience from a distant location. Right? So example, managers may listen to the customer's calls instead of interacting directly with them. Sometimes we may use it for training purposes also. Right? Your boss was asked to deal with another customer. Of course, you are in the panic, no? And see how you basically dealing with that customer. Right? So all we try to learn, improve customer experience. So then now look at it. What are the strategies? We look at it. What are the strategies you can make use of for gaining customer experience? What are the strategies? Right. What are the strategies? Now, we all banks, especially all organization, so we are fierce competition. We are facing a fierce competition, stiff competition. So organizations have realized that the fact that ongoing engagement and co-creation with customers is an essential for achieving sustainable differentiations and profitable growth. Now, that's what at the beginning I told you, and this is what you call the next competitive battleground, customer experience, right? So therefore, to strive to gain deeper understanding of aspects So necessary to achieve a higher level of customer experience. So for that, a lot of strategies are initiated for customer experiences, right? Let's look at it now. What are those strategies, whether you and me can apply to some extent? We have identified five broad strategies for customer experiences. Right. So one is communication strategy, brand association strategy, product strategy, electronic media strategy, and people strategy. Now we try to understand these strategies. First one, you look at the communication strategy. Now, what is communication? Now, communication is simply referring to the exchange. Exchange of what? Exchange of facts, exchange of thoughts, exchange of ideas, opinion between two individuals. Right? Now, you know the normal communication process: encoding, channeling, imparting, and receiving, and decoding and receiving. Now, in the normal communication process, how do you know whether you understand the customer is understood from your feedback, right? So the receiver receives or decodes and interprets the message and send a feedback to the sender. That is how you identify. So communication, remember, right? It's a good way to learn experience, right? The moment your customer purchases a product, so effective communications help an organization to ensure that this product meets customer immediate needs. So now I think I last time I discussed with you. So the person goes to the services, car services, right? You get a call from the head office, some party, third party. I'm from this company. I just want to check with you whether you are satisfied with your services rendered to you, while they will ask so many areas whether you are satisfied with our staff, having a comfortable place till such time you complete your service, or otherwise you go home and come back, and what you're feeling about that, right? That is a sort of a communication. Share your experience. So while in later stages, regular communication with customers helps an organization to receive their feedback and more improvement is product accordingly. And they again then once it's come to close to the uh, next service time, you may in between, right? In between calls a particular same person and telling that, so I'm from so and so, and I hope your car is now about to come to the second service, and just to give you a reminder and blah blah, right? Just communicating, just show your experience, right? So apart from that, apart from calling mobile or another communication methods, you also can make use of various tools, right? Chat sites, blogs, understand viewpoints and preference of his customers. That can be also used through brochures and advertisements, but better always should have a dialogue, communicate with them, so you can see the experiences. Third one is the brand association strategy. Brand association strategy. Now, the brand association strategy, referring to the attributes of a brand that comes into the customer's mind when the brand is talked about. Now, sometimes we call them as top of mind, even though may not using, there may be a top of mind things. It's related to implicit and expertise meaning that a customer associates with a specific product. Right? Now we'll say PMW is associated with superior engineering. That is what? Brand association. Now, if you say Eslon, what has come to your mind? Right? Eslon is a brand name. If you think about the Panadol, what is Panadol? It is a brand name. What is Bata? Now Bata is, I mean, not these days. When we are very small, Bata, something comes to your mind. Right? Now, those are all are brand names. So enjoy with your brand names, your experiences. But actually, what is Eslon mean? Polyvinyl chloride, PVC. If you take Bata, it's a shoes, right? It is something associated. Okay? It is, you see the brand association. It's so much close to your experiences. Right? Okay. So then, high degree of brand association, right, lead to a positive customer experience. So how brand association can be formed? Okay, you can make use of some advertisement. That is why you have a keep on advertisement. Word of mouth publicity, cheap method, price at which a brand is sold, association with celebrities of other prominent personalities, right? And appoint brand ambassadors, right? That is why sometimes we get some people now who this lady who sing song now is famous one, Shahana, no? Who's Mage, Manike Mage Te Damanadke. Now she was appointed as a Sri Lankan ambassador for tourism, right? So can create now why sometimes some people not earlier we heavily use some cricketers now for country like India. Of course, they are using only two guys, either actor or actress or cricketer, right? Okay, so see how many actors and actresses are or cricketers are using in TV commercial by in India, right? If they experience, so why not we? That is the mentality, right? Okay, so how you use the brand association strategy. Third one, we may use the product strategy. You may use the product strategy. Now, product referring to a good or services that satisfy the needs and wants of the customer. That's the simple definitions of product. No, the product mean in technically we say anything we offer to the market to satisfaction, acquisition, and fulfill of the customer needs is called a product. Now, in today's highly competitive market scenario, customer has a number of options of the same product. right? So therefore, you need to make it products different from that of its competitors. So they may add some, add some features, various product related variables, maybe design, packaging, colors, display, brand characteristics, a lot of things. So all these variables sometimes can be helping organizations to build strong emotional attachment of customer with the brand and gain competitive advantage. So therefore, products also can be used for experience. You can say this product is different, not like that. So that's the experience I have come across. Right? So that's how you use the product strategy. The next strategy is called the electronic media strategy. Now today we can make use of the internet and the electronic media, and it's play an important role in gaining customer experience. So the nowadays the internet has enables individual to get connected with wherever you. So therefore, in such a situation, so you can make use of experiencing selling your product and services through internet. So on that's what I told you at the beginnings, online branding. How quickly you can use it, these things. Now, the radio and, to familiarize in the market, this took maybe 20, 30 years. Radio, same. Some of the things you took more time, but some of the activities you may not took even much time. Now I have seen an video presentation. What they said, the Steve, right? The iPod, right? Now to sell once the iPod introduced into the market in early 2007-8, right? 50 million iPods sold in the world by Apple in 80 days, right? So that sort of facility can be given through the internet, right? Okay, so you make use of your electronic media strategy to experience, to buy anything online. Now think about the your now these days Uber and even for Amazon, to what extent they use these experience strategies, right? So why don't you make use of these things? Right. Another important thing is your people, the most important thing. Customers, not only make the judgments about the brand based on its quality, and also the people who provide the service. Now, the employees of an organization directly interact with customers, especially in a service industry, influence customer experience in a great way. Right? If a customer complains, so to what extent, what actions you have taken and support the customers for some inquiries, right? So people strategy play an important role. So there must be some sort of a people contribution for your experience. Right now, take this example, will you? Now, these are the people who are working in an organization. Now, the like in a workplace as well as the customers, you may experience. Now we are enjoying Gen Z. Now we have millennials, we have a Gen X, we have a baby boomers, we have a silent generation. I think in a bank you won't see silent generations, but you may come across with these four groups who may be baby boomers still there in your banks mostly. At least some people are there. Then Gen X, of course, born after 1965. Yeah. Then majority of people in the millennials in new bank, and there may be some also from Gen Z. Now, in the workplace, these different people are working because customer experience may be differ from your gender as well as your age wise. That is why we have right the five generations. So now is four generation in a workplace. So these are the people provide experiences. That is why we need to recruit the new people. Now the government want to extend it their uh, some people are telling to extend it the working period from 60 to 63 like that blah blah issues, right? Okay, so once you go for that, the experience good for senior citizen for back office, but the front office usually you need people young experiences, right? So you need to look at it the generations when you're trying to develop people strategy as a customer experience. Now, what are the challenges to positive customer experiences? What are the challenges a bank face for positive customer experience? Now, we need to look at it. Now, say for an example, suppose your organization obtain the services from a company like Fronto, right? To you are very famous, right? To deliver your renewal notices, right? And you are heavily used with new leading information and technology. So you usually send your monthly bills or renewal notices to customers at correct time. But then suddenly you noted that. So there may be a delay in sending your renewal notices and some uh, issues, some information to the third parties. So delivery issues, delay in sending the renewal notices. Now that's the experience. Now you have a good experience. Suddenly it has changed to the bad experience. So what you need to do in that case, you need to re-engineer the process. You need to look at it. Why it's not going at the correct time now, not like those days. So therefore, when you do custom experience, so you may face challenges. So what you need to do in order to meet those changes or challenges, continuously monitor your processes. right? These are some of the strategies you may come across when you are dealing with these strategies or provide customer experience. Now look at it. What are the components that derive customer satisfactions and loyalty? Now remember, the positive customer experiences lead to customer satisfaction. Positive customer experience lead to customer satisfaction and customer loyalty, both. So customer satisfactions and the loyalty, which are the two indispensable element for the growth of any organization. But this is very hard process to implement, right? But customer experience will support these two indispensable activities, right? Now, there are certain key components that derive customer satisfactions and loyalty. Now, as we discussed earlier, consistent communication with the customer. Now, good example I will tell you. If a person usually telephone you, so your relative, your friend, right, continuously or constantly communicate with you. Suddenly you notice that person is not communicate oftenly, but you feel it. You feel it. He is out from me, right? But if a customer consistent communications, so you have a positive experience of that. Therefore, you noted that is important. Delivering customer satisfactions and loyalty, the consistent communication is important. Of course, superior customer service, definitely, with quality output. And what is the level of value created for customer? Last week, we discussed how to create value proposition. Or what are the other benefits? So these are the components you can add satisfaction. So differentiates between customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. So these are the two positive dimensions of enhancing customer profitability. But you noted that, but still there are some differences. Let's look at it. What are the differences between customer satisfaction and customer loyalty? Right? You look at it, two difference distinction. Satisfied customer may not be a loyal customer. Remember, loyalty continues even at the time of dissatisfaction. That's the important thing. Loyalty can continue, but satisfied customer is not your loyal customer. He may be satisfied for this, not all, but loyal customer can tolerate your dissatisfactions. Satisfied customer, they were never talks about your offers to the others, but loyalty customers lead to referrals. Talk about your product and service to others. And remember the satisfactions perceived through consumers' mind. But loyalty is a moral, it's an emotion. Now, loyalty associated with the term commitment, but you won't expect to satisfy customers to make a commitment. So these are some of the differences, but you need to fulfill both. Now, how can you, what are the benefits achieving high level of customer satisfaction? High level of customer satisfaction, it's facilitate minimizing the cost of selling. Selling is a costly exercise. So for that, we need to spend a lot of money. So have the loyalty and satisfy customer. So make that cost less. So every time we are uplifting the repeat purchase from existing customers. That is why we like to have your existing customer. They are the people who bought our new products. They are the people who buy our products continuously and repeatedly. So through the customer satisfactions and loyal, so we always try to improve our quality, improve the rate of retention, and providing win-win platform for our customers. So that is why we need to be concentrated on customer satisfactions and loyalty. What are the key success factors then? What are the key success factors of loyalty and satisfaction? Monopoly market, customer has no other option. So then, of course, you are being a loyal. Now, if you're facing a market like oligopolistic, so Sri Lankan banks are in the oligopolistic market, right? What is oligopolistic market mean? Basically, there are few top players and many small players. Now, banks also like that, no? There are major players like Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, HNB, Sampath, NSB. So they are the major players. But then you may have other lot of players around another 20 odd banks are there, less than 200 billion. So they are also playing in the market, right? So organization, customer satisfactions and loyalty play an important role, especially in the oligopolistic market condition like banks, what we are facing. That is why the customer satisfaction and loyalty need to be addressed efficiently and effectively. Right? So that's important things in this case. Now, according to the Harvard Business Review, there are certain success factors for achieving customer satisfactions and loyalty. What are those factors? There should be objectives and employee incentives. Customer focused culture in an organization. Culture, we talk everywhere. We talk about compliance, we talk about compliance culture. We talk about the risk in the bank, we talk about the risk culture. Right? When you talk about the credit, we talk about the credit culture. So everything is culture is important. Culture is the set of beliefs and factors the people are showing in an organization, right? So there should be a customer focused culture in an organization who are must be satisfactions and loyal driven employees. Of course, top of the top management support play an important role in this endeavor. possible, segmenting, identify customers' need, and fulfill. And continuous training is important for employees. Not only that, providing better services, continuous process improvement, service delivery need to be done. So if you've done all these things, remember, automatically there may be a customer satisfaction and loyalty created, right? Okay, so now we just look at it before we move into the next section. How CRM can be used, or CRM software can be used to organization to create a positive experience. So a lot of CRM, I told you at the beginning as well today, it's a technological driven, strategic driven, people driven business. So therefore, technology of CRM software can have a significant impact of customer experience. Now, CRM software is a business tool that an organization uses to collect and maintain information. That is what we discuss about the component of the three main component of architecture of CRM. That is the strategic CRM or collaborative CRM and operational CRM and analytical CRM. Right. Now let's look at some of the software packages used by a lot of organizations today, right? To provide the superior customer services, the digitalization, lower turnaround time, first time right applications, straight through processing, then transparency procedure, etc. You can superior your customer services. So you try to reduce your operational risk and cost. How can you do that? Through your process digitalizing, right? The new capabilities and agile adoption, on-the-job training to become certified activities or everything. The new product launches and digital marketing, new customer segments, higher productivity through use of analytics, right? Through automated processing and credit decisioning. Now, through the benefits of end-to-end digitalization, you may use this to provide a better, superior customer services. Now, corporate banks are redefining their customer experiences, plus touch points. Now, this is what we discuss about the improving your customer experience through digitalization, right? We start with the relationship management. So then we move into the channels, product and services, pricing, customer service, every touch points, you can redefine your customer experiences. How? Personalized real-time access to service provided. So if you're using integrated multi-channel offering, address channels. Product and services, how you address? Through customized solution, value-added services. Pricing, the dynamic and bespoke and bespoke in pricing, good pricing. then real-time query resolution and support. Now this is, you look at it, these are the touch points, how you can use to improve your customer experience amount from these touch points, right? Then you look at it, massive incremental value for corporate banks from digitalization. What banks can do, you can improve revenue advancement, increase by 10% to 30%. You improve your cost reductions and reduce reliance on loan products, fee income, right? So if you really look at it, you can save a lot of incremental value for corporate banks from digitalization. That is why when you go for a custom experiences, so we are using a lot of digitalization techniques, right? Okay, so that's what we talk about the we talk about the custom experience, and I'm just going to touch something about what is future of CX. What is the future of custom experience? Now, a lot of organizations have the predictive custom experience platforms, and they in a position to better measure and manage their custom experience. And they also improving the strategic decision making. So for how will they do it? And it is an extension of digitalization. This analytics driven approach gave the company a quantified and systematic view into the problems, opportunity areas, channel interactions, plus millions of customers. What makes support them? Systematic journey improvements. So therefore, in the future, your custom experience is moving to the data-driven, predictive systems and competitive advantage. So these are in the store for companies that can better understand what customers are want and need. So CX, the future CX, is therefore data-driven and predictive systems. Now let's look at it very briefly. What is this predictive customer experience platforms? Right? So the new way of customer experience, which I earlier explained to you most of the traditional way. Now, new methods is called three key elements. Customer level data lake. Right? It is a blood lake, not blood lake, it's a data lake. First, the company gathers customers' financial, operational information, both aggregate data as well as the individual customers. Now, so now we're using all these things in the cloud-based platform, not like earlier. So we have enough cloud-based opportunities are available. We'll keep it all this cloud-based platform. And comprehensive, connected, and dynamic customer level data, then set the organization to map the track customer behavior across interactions, transactions, and operations. Now, fast information, all they measure customer behavior. So this data lake therefore provide of understand your customer experiences. Now you need to, this platform should be reliable throughout the organization with clear and consistent mapping across all the data sources and unique identifier for customers, product lines, and other critical business inputs. It's an integrated approach in that sense. Second, predictive customer scores. Now, customer develop analytics. Now, we are already oftenly using several type of machine learning algorithms. If the Now, if you use machine learning, if you have more information, it is very difficult to measure, very difficult to analyze of a human being. So we're using what? Machine learning. So they will support you to analyze the various touch points and how the business you can improve in specific events in customer journey. So through these scores, like now we have a credit scores now. Likewise, why we give the credit scoring for customers like that. So through this uh, uh, predictive scoring methods, you can identify uh, how customers are predicted in a different manner and a different way. Right now, and also this facilitate you to assess the ROI for particular CS investment. So all this you need to spend money, no, so that you can use ROIs, return on investment, for these CX investments. What is the business outcome by predicting the customer score? Last one, action and insight engine. Information, insight, and suggestions are shared with broad set of employees, even from the front office, middle office, and the back office, with the help of APIs, interfaces. Now, all are linked because whoever who in the organization, right, try to support with the help of IT, APIs and all, provide a better customer services. So these are the new way, the new future of CX. So they go for more custom experience by obtaining the new technological developments. Right. Now we move into the next area. It is what you call the gig CX. Now, what is gig economy? Now, the new things, gig CX, right? Now, the role of a gigs in custom experience. Now, gig economy, that basically, we are using other people to do the business activities. Part-time people, then people who are not working, maybe outside. So in custom experience operation, the advantage of gift labor can be many. So why? The employee may be not in a position to provide the flexibility that an on-demand model confers, but using gig workers can help overcome geographic limits of talent sourcing. Right? If you have a problem is having the custom experience we may use the gig people. So they're reducing the need of physical infrastructure, allowing cost to be scaled more close to the output requirement. So we make use of some of the gig people to provide customer services through make it experiences. So workers of the part get the opportunity to work with multiple client companies simultaneously. Now, these gig people not only working for you, they may work for others. They have a lot of experiences, right? Okay, so they can share with others. So you can use the gig approach to internal. So use your internal talent in a gig manner. It's a new thing. So for one, companies gain flexibility and can optimize staffing by moving away from shift model to more on a demand model, right? So through the gig, you can have the demand model. Now, good example in COVID-19 lockdowns, as I explained to you earlier, the European bank converted several branches sites into the call centers and moved nearly half of the support staff to work from home, right? Okay, so they make use of your staff to deal as an share to them experiences. Now, companies bring some external gig workers, sometimes handle calls related to gaming hardware recommendations, right, rather than in your own. So using internal gig workers dramatically reduce the risk of losing money of training external workers. So now we may use the external gig worker, but you can make use the gig approach to your internal people, right? So there are some advantages because you don't want to spend more money, right? You can workers can help the cross pollinate best practices, rotating these CX roles, right? And broadening their exposure to company operation can provide new sources of motivations and engagement, right? So gig CX, right? The organizations try to facilitate customer experience through external people. And that you may use is to apply in the internal staff as well. Same methodology, rather than confined to do a one job, right? Through that, an organization in a position to this. Now, if you really look at it, getting going with gig CX, that means the gig custom experience. Now, now today, customers or companies experiences demand variability than stability. So therefore, majority of would welcome great operation agility and adaptiveness to a changing environment. So that is why organization may look for a gig CX. That means, so if you can give those custom experience by using the other people who are not in the organization, right? You can improve your custom experience. There is a trend today for gig CX. So basically, you're using external talented people for certain activities where they may helpful to build up customer experience. So that's a new area. I want to touch with you with regard to the how you using gig CX. That means if you're using outside your employees to perform these certain functions where you cannot sometimes provide that facility with your internal people, you may use some third party sources. You get it some outside people to provide that services. That is called the new technique word we call the gig customer experience. How you using external people. There are advantages and disadvantages, right? Okay, so we'll have a break and then we move into the final session. After the break, we talk about little bit of CRM models, how these CRM models used by us to provide a better customer relationship management, right? Okay, so we'll have a, and then after that, so we may discuss, I think by that time your exam paper for 2019 is loaded, I suppose. Sampath එක ඇවිල්ලාද බලන්න? Sampath එක එවලද?
බැලුවේ නෑ සර්
Right. Okay. I just go there and check, right? I will see. Now we'll have a break. And we will meet another, now is 15:27. Another 20 minutes, 20 minutes at what time now? 3:27, 3:50, right? 3:50, 3:55. And then we finish it up today after discussing CRM models. And then after that, we may discuss what sort of questions in your paper can come on your exam day. That is on when I told you, no, second, right? Somewhere, second of or 2nd or 4th December. Right. We'll have a break and then discuss the balance. Right. So we moving to the CRM models, right? We try to briefly understand or touch the CRM models. Now, what is the CRM model? Defines a framework to manage customer relationship through stages from acquisition till retention. So whatever the CRM models develop, basically on framework within the framework of customer acquisitions till retention, right? So therefore, whatever the CRM model, right, it lays down the strategy to develop customer relationship by focusing on customer satisfaction, loyalty, experiences, competitive advantage, and multi-channel communication network, right? So that those are the main areas, whatever the developed models talk about. Right, and we have identified there are 5 types of models, what is called IDIC model, CRM value chain model, QCI model, Payne and Furrow's 5 process model, Gartner competency model. So very briefly, we are going to touch on explaining what are these models, right? And the first model is what you call the IDIC models, right? Now, IDIC model basically talk about this. Uh, it's a very simple and general methods. Now, if what is this models is talk about? Now, this give you these models give you guidelines for the banks and companies if you want to apply CRM, and this is the model you can use it. An IDIC model of CRM is a very straightforward, very simple general model. Now, IDSA model basically identify is a four action emphasize. What are the actions? As the name implies, with IDIC, it's called the first one is the identify stage, and then we moving to the second stage, that's the differential stage. Third is the interaction, so interact stage, and the last one is called customized stage. There are four main actions, and this strategy was developed by in 1995. These are all are new models, right? By one Mr. Don Peppers and Rogers. Don Peppers and Rogers was identified this IDIC model. Now, let me try to explain what is this model is talk about, right? This model basically, the first step is the identity models, right? Now, identity mean basically is an identification stage. In this particular stage, what they try to do, identify companies will try to identify um now, in as I told you, this IDIC model, which suggests that the company should take four actions, uh, action in order to build, keep, and retain long-term relationship with customers. Now, first one we call the identification stage. Now, in this stage, companies will try to identify each customers from their needs and wants and preferences, right? So we need to understand each, identify their customers needs, wants, and preferences before we establishing a relationship or a strategy. Now, now, example, if you put it in Apple company, now how they identify the customer's need, right? Now we try to collect a lot of information, so demographic information, habit and characteristics like income, their age level, contact information, product purchase, and so on, right? So we try to discuss here the the purchases history, right? Customer collect data, we create knowledge base regarding, so their names, address, purchases history, right? All these things we look at it and identify stage, right? So your customers as individual and let them to feel you know them. So we try to collect informations about the customers. Then the second stage we call them as a differentiation age. So we may look at it, your customers by their value to your organization. What value they bring to the organization, and what are the need from the organization. What how customers are provide need. So there are two ways: need from the organization and value to the organization, right? We look at it in the differentiation stage. Now, customers can be basically categorized based on different value and needs. Now, it is important to differentiate, remember, differentiates customer into different categories so that the companies can carry out different strategies to reach every single customer, right? So that's what the differentiation strategy is talk about. So basically how you differentiate your profitable customer with non-profitable customer, how you're going to create segments on the basis of their lifetime purchases and how much of value they bring to the organization. So we need to look at it, the IDC model in the differential stage from the two angle. One is value to the organizations, and the second one, need from the organization. So now, say for an example, if you valuable category for the Apple, right? The frequent and loyal buyers, as they contributed to the highest and sustainable value. So your existing customer, right? Now, for example, women in age of 30 to 35 years, all are categorized in potential growth of category due to overwhelming demand among female towards Apple products. Usually, there is an, according to the research, Apple, these particular segment of category have a specific demand, especially from the female, for certain Apple products, right? So that is how you differentiate your customers. Okay, so then that's the second stage, differentiating your products. So your customers, and on basis of um, what the organization, differentiate your customers by their needs from the organization, and customers by their value to the organization, right? So then once you differentiate it, then we move into the next stage, that is interaction stage. Now, through the interaction stage, company should emphasize the interaction with customers to ensure now that the understand customer expectation and their relationship with the brand, right? We are trying to understand the relationship. Now, example, if I quoted uh, the pre-purchase stage, Apple, what they do, Apple publish advertisement on TV and social media, and such as YouTube and Facebook, right? So while in purchase stage, the Apple offers customers to try their product in the physical store before buying, right? That is what they said. Okay, why don't you try with one? You visit to one of our outlets and try to try. I mean, before they buy, right? So besides, Apple also try to understand that each customer's feedback and satisfactions after experience of using. So that is the interactions we talk about in as per the Apple, how they use this IDC model. The third step, as I explained to you, interact with your customers on the basis of segmental analysis, and so gathering the insight, right? Insight about the process. So that is with the customers according to their values and their needs. We are trying to enter into some sort of interaction. Then once you identify all these things, the fourth step is the customizations. Now based on your past behavior, right? After three stages completions, the companies can customize their product and services to fit into individual needs and wants, right? It into the individual needs and wants. That is what you call the customize your products and services to customize customers' needs according to you prepare. So that is the very simple, straightforward method, right? Now, if you look at it, this one IDC model. First, identify customers to create customer knowledge database, which can use for establishment of unique identification. So in this identify method, we try to collect informations about the customer, about his name, addresses, history of purchases and things. Then you try to differentiate, creating multiple segments of customers based on their purchase value and preferences. You are trying to segmenting in the same differentiation, right? Third one is interaction. So we are communicate with different customers to create engagement and continuous involvement in business. So that's the interactions. That is why we discussed today in the morning, the engagement. Then the last stage, we are trying to customize the product, customizing the product and services to create customer loyalty and equity. So thereby, what we are trying to provide the long-term relationship with the customer. And this is very straightforward, very simple methods of CRM. That's we call IDIC, which introduced by Don Pepper, and Roger in 1995. It's a very basic model, right? Any organization, these models, how you, if you want to apply your CRM, so these are the type of models you can use it for your organization. And then we move into the next model.
So
That
excuse me, sir.
Yeah, okay.
In case that IDIC model, how that you discover Apple, how that they do, can you explain that again?
Yeah, now it's like this.
Identify.
Apple, okay, if you take the IDEC with Apple, now what Apple is doing, first they try to collect information at the identification stage. What is the identification stage is talking about? Now companies, what they try to identify customer from their needs, wants, and preferences. So even for marketing, we knew we try to identify customers' needs and wants, right? Now how Apple is Apple has done this. And they identify, understand their customers base as much as possible. Now we are trying to collect demography information, habits, and other characteristics such as income, age level, contact information, the product purchase, and so on. That means if you have purchased any other product, any Apple products before, so all the information. So here the identification stage is basically we talk about collecting information, right? Collecting information, whether it is a custom, as far as informations to collect, that is called identification. Then Apple used in the differentiation stage. Now, what happened? These most valuable category for the Apple is frequent and loyal buyers. They said they are the frequent buyers and the loyal buyers as they contribute to the highest and sustainable value. Now, what they identify at the differential stage, from the data they gathered, they try to look at it. Who are the customers who purchase loyal? They identify the customers who buy frequently and who are the loyal customers and who give you highest value to their products, right? And okay, and also in the meantime, woman age between 25-35 years old, and they have identified they are the potential growth category due to the overwhelming demand among the female towards the Apple. Now, if the ladies are buying Apple product and they have identified, they have differentiated, there's a particular age group between 25-35 group are the more buyers of the Apple products, right? Not all ladies, right? The specific age groups they have basically um, buy these Apple groups. So that is how they differentiate the customers. Then at the interaction stage, usually what the Apple is doing at the interaction stage. Now, so usually what happened, they usually put an advertisement maybe on TV or maybe especially in social media, maybe Facebook, so whatever. And at the purchase stage, right? So they say there's a products like that. In the purchase stage, what they are telling, what they are communicating to create interaction, they said go to their nearest, what you call the nearest outlet, right? Now, if you've been to, especially all these countries, you see, honestly, I have one time visited in USA. If I noted that something is peculiar, right? There may be a lot of Apple outlets, right? So Apple outlets is very simple. It's like if I seen almost all these Apple outlets in USA, it's like this. It's a basically 50-50 cube. I mean cubicle, and it's a four only for nothing usually, right? All the alongside with the walls, all the displays, and in middle there is some display materials, and visual displays are on fishing to the left, right? You believe me, all the shops, not all other shops are not much crowd, but all the Apple outlets are full of young girls and boys, right? And there are four, five, six uh, sales representative or the sales girls and boys, right? They having with the some book, notebook. They all are in front of the gate, right? The moment one person enter, one representative catch him and go with him and ask everything and show. Till such time you go out, he with that person. So imaging the situ, right? This is how dialogue, sorry, the Apple catering to the people, right? I am my eyewitness. I have seen a lot of young crowds are there, and the moment they enter, one person will catch him, right? Okay, so they look at it. Then while in purchase stage, what they discuss with these guys, I mean the people, to try their product and in the physical store before buying. So they was given to use it, how it works and like that, right? So creating some sort of an experiences, right? So then at the customization stage, usually now uh, another important thing is how you customize the product in Apple. Now, Apple has launched a variety of colors now on phones, such as the green, red, purple, to attract potential, especially the women customers, female customers, right? And meanwhile, their iPad was designed and launch to fulfill the need of customer which prefer combinations between laptop and smartphones, right? In between, iPod is something in between laptop and smartphones, right? There's in between. So likewise, most of the products, I mean most of the Apple products are customized, changing their colors and things like that. This is how the Apple to some extent use this IDIC model, right? So then you have another models, what you call, we call them as QCI models, right? Now the QCI model is basically, mm, may look at it, the two things. Now the QCI method is look at it from the external environment as well as internal environment. Now, internal environmental factors and external environmental factors, they may look at it, and there's input from external environment, basically the market environment, and then the customer experience we call the CX, and there's some internal informations. Now, internal informations are people and organization, infrastructure, IT, right? All are basically we talk in the internal environment, right? So the first stage under the QCI model, that is QCI model is usually we call them as quality competitiveness index model. Quality competitive index model, right? Now, uh, now this is rather than it's an basically a customer management model. It is not a basically a um, rather relationship. It is a management model. Now this QCI model shows a series of activities relating to the external environment and customer experience, people, organization, infrastructure, together helping the building the whole process of customer management activity. Now, when you come up with the customer management activity, it is in the center. Now, if you look at it, highlighting the customer management activity, right? This is the customer management activity. First, you're targeting, right? You have a conversation, then welcome to getting welcoming and getting know and delivering basis, retention, value development, management, managing dissatisfactions, win back, targeting. It's a wheel, it's going like this. This is the entire customer management activity. And in order to facilitate that, and there is some information with regard to external inputs as well as internal input, right? These external environmental factors and internal environmental factors. Now, what are the internal environmental factors? People, organization, IT, infrastructure, and all. And what they do, they how they look at it, how these factors facilitating the customers management, right? So this customer management activity is that big role here. Big circle is continuously rotating. They every time targeting, conversation, welcome to the getting to know, delivering basics, retention activity, value development. This keep on taking place, right? So that is the customer management activity. Now, according to the this model, these external environmental directly affect the customer experience, and also it affect the planning and analysis of process of the organization, right? Then customer experience may be affected by customer proposition, customer management activity, then measurements where customers propositions mean something that is company offer to the customer um, against the price. Customer management activity is the process of capturing customer, which start from targeting till win-win situation, right? So this infrastructure and other peoples and organization, so those are we call them as an internal factor which facilitate CRM implementation, right? So each activity, people, organization, process, technology have a dual effect and are intercorrelated with each other. Now, all these activities are interrelated with all other. And this method is more or less a emphasis on the quality aspects, right? QCI model is something what you call the emphasize the quality, right? So that is another method introduced by the QCI, introduced by the CRM model. The another method we call the CRM value model. Now, it's like is something is similar to the it is similar to the what you call uh, Michael Porter's five forces theory. Can you remember? Not a five forces, a value chain model. Same thing you carried out. This they have identified basically four main supplement supporting conditions. Right now, supporting conditions like it is of course is CRM value chain is developed by Francis Bertel. We call them as a Francis Bertel model, and in 2004, and there were five primary stages, and basically the other uh, four supporting conditions. Now, customer portfolio analysis. I think now you know what is customer portfolio analysis. Now, customer portfolio analysis, identify your customers' needs and wants. Customer portfolio analysis is that, right? Customer, identify your customer portfolio analysis. Then you customer intimacy. So you have you develop your customer intimacy stage. Then network development. Then a value proposition delivered. How can you add value to the customer, and how you keep your customer for lifetime. So that's a primary stage of a CRM, right? And in order to support that four, five main primary activities, there are four supporting conditions like leadership and culture. How company provide them a leadership and the culture to do these things, and how the data and information technology facilitates to carry out their main five primary stages. Then how people, HR and marketing will support to carry out these primary targets, primary stages and processes, how the processes support. These are supporting condition and these are the primary stages, right? So through that, what we basically you are expecting to basically satisfy the customers. So those are we call at the primary stage, if I put it incorrectly, the focus is on customer to develop a strategy to maintain significantly the long-term mutually profitably relationship, right? Now this basically this primary stage, what we try to do, right? Try to develop a customer's long-term relationship, right? Now these primary stages we basically divide it into five parts, starting from customer portfolio analysis, and it goes through the customer intimacy, network development, value propositions, and the ending at customer lifetime management. So that's the expectation. Now customer portfolio analysis is done basically through collect some information about the customers. Now based on um, uh, maybe the segmentation and all sort of things. um, so the customer intimacy, as I explained to you, collected various stages and stored in knowledge database which are used to analyze your customers. So the network development basically means the company must create a complete network of suppliers, manufacturers, employees, uh, investment, and things like that, right? And the secondary stages, those are we call supporting conditions in terms of providing the supporting the providing the supportive conditions like technology, the robust technology, uh, right? Robust technology, skilled people, right? To facilitate efficient process. So those are some of the supporting conditions. Now, example. Now, I think if you really recall the Michael Porter CRM value, there are some main activities. No, what are the main activities? They said, okay, input and then conversion, right? Output and marketing and sale, and then you send the product. In order to support these main activities, they may have a what infrastructure development, human resource development, technology like that. No, so these are facilitating. Same thing here. CRM value chain model is, these are the main activities, primary stages, how you convert once you collect the information, and how you provide how you convert the customer into lifetime customer. And in order to do that, what are the supporting conditions? We must give them a leadership. You need to support through IT, support with skillful people, and then skillful processing knowledge, new processes, and things like that. Right. So that's a CRM value model, right? Okay. So then we move into the importance of model, and this model is basically is talk about that's the best model out of all other CRM models, and which was developed by Adrian Payne and Penny Fro. That's what we call Payne and Fro's five process model. And here they talk about the priority about customer acquisition to the retention. Here, now he has identified five processes. What are the five step process they have identified? One is the strategy development process. Now, in the strategy development process, second, value creation process, third, multi-channel integration process, third, fourth, performance assessment process, and the last one, the information management process. If you want to put it, you can put as that repository mean what you call the information management process. So therefore, pain, froze, 5-step process, these are the key 5 process. Now let me try to explain a little bit of on this. And if you really look at it, and this is supposed to be the best model, and through the this main process, they look at it. The first step is strategy development process, right? Through the strategy development process, now we have the first process we consider as is defined in the overall objectives and parameters, right? So what is your business strategy? What is your business strategy? To determine how the organization customer strategy should be developed and how it will be evolved in the future. So you look at it, the business strategy. Now we look at the business strategy, develop a vision and purposes, right? We need to know your business strategy, right? Then we look at the value, the customer strategy. Now, what is customer strategy? How we are going to um, fulfill the uh, uh, business strategy through using CRM, right? So these are the two strategies we need to look at it at the strategy development process, right? First stage, what is your business strategy and what is your customer strategy? How you are going to satisfy your customer in order to achieve your business objectives, right? That's the first strategy. The first step involving uh, in the pain and pros 5-step process model. Then the second stage of the or second process we call value creation process. Now under value creation process, what are you going to look at it? Under value creation process, you're going to look at it two ways. One is what is the value customer receives, what is the value customer receives, and determine the value to customers. First part, determine the value to customers, and then you look at it, what are the value organization is receiving, both things, right? So under value creation process, that is what we have spent more time last week, customer value proposition, right? So what are the uh, uh, determine the value to customers, that means value customer receives as well as value organization receive, right? Value organization receives. So this you look at it on the value creation process, right? Now basically if you really look at it, now I think you may recall we have learned 3 architecture of CRM. What are the 3 architecture of CRM? Collaborative or strategic CRM. Second, we call them as operational CRM. And third one is the analytical CRM. Right? Matakaine? Right. If you look at it, the strategic CRM or collaborative CRM, basically um, the first two, I mean the strategy development process and value chain creation process, is usually comes under the strategic CRM or collaborative CRM, right? So the strategy development process and the value creation process supported with this strategic co-collaborative CRM. When it's come to the operational CRM, it's come the multi-channel integration process, right? Now in the next the multi-channel integration method, channel integration process, basically discuss on the operational CRM, where you use your sales force and you use your outlets, you use your direct marketing, you how you use your call center, and how you use your um, electronic and mobile and the social media, right? You are going to try to understand what sort of um, what sort of uh, uh, mm, how you communicate your offers to the customers, right? So that's the multi-channel integration. Is usually we call them as a the operational. Then the next one, we look at the performance assessment process. Now the performance assessment process, what can be done to increase the revenue to the revenue and shareholder value. So basically, which standard and matrix are to be used to measure and manage performances, right? So that's the performance assessment process. We look at it. Now, say in the micro level, if you look at it, the macro level, if you look at the shareholder results, right? If you look at it, shareholder results, what are the areas we are going to look at it? Employee value, customer value, shareholder value, and cost reduction. So how can you add value, give performances to assess performance in respect of shareholders? Then if you look at the performance monitoring, what are the standards we are using, what is the satisfactory level measurement, right? Results and KPIs we are going to look at under performance monitoring stage, right? And the last stage uh, in the five forces model is what you call the data, I mean, we call information management process. Where the information management process, what we are trying to do, uh, basically, we are going to look at it how is our customer data collected and store it, and how can this data be used to improve CRM process. Now you may recall with the we may you may recall one component of CRM is what, the analytical CRM. So there, the fifth stage is basically talk about the analytical stage, right? And multi-channel and performance is basically we talk about the operational, and strategy development and value creation. Two stages talk about the strategic CRM. Multi-channel and performance assessment uh, will explain about the operational, right? And the last one, that the information level, usually we are using analytical CRM, right? Now, how IT systems, how analysis tool, how front office application, back office application are using to analyze your customers. Okay, right. These are the some of the five stages method developed by Payne and Frost when you develop in your CRM models, right? Okay, this was developed by Adrian Pay, as I explained to you. It's given your handout, right? And the next method is what you call the Gartner's competency model, right? Gartner's competency model, and that is the last
So,
model. Yeah. Any
so
question?
yeah, with regard to that five-step model, five-step process,
Yeah.
performance assessment also goes to the operational aspect.
Yes, yes. They look at it from the operational, also comes under performance, right? What sort of things you can come out. Okay, right?
Okay.
Right. So then in the Gartner competency model, now they have identified, developed by, is a company developed by Gartner INC, is an basically an IT company, and companies, what they're talking in CRM model, companies need to need competencies in these 8 areas. According to him, he has identified 8 areas. What are the 8 areas they identify? First, they must have a CRA vision. Then you may have a leadership, social worth, and value proposition. All things comes under CRM vision. The second stage is what you call the CRM strategy. Now, CRM strategy talk about the objectives, segmenting, effective interactions between all these groups. So that's the CRM strategy. Third one is called value custom experience. So here under the third step, understand the requirements of customers, monitor expectations, satisfaction, and competition, collaboration, feedback. And these are the areas we look at it under custom experiences. Now, fourth one is the organizational collaboration. Now, the organization's collaboration mean culture, structure, customer understanding, skill of people and their competencies, right? Employees communication with partners and suppliers, all the other support activities to achievement of objective of CRM. Then they conduct the CRM processes mean about the customer life cycle and the knowledge management. They identify the under CRM process. Then CRM information, you collect information with regard to lot of our input with regard to the channels and all other areas. Then technology they use it, what technology they are using, what are the application, architecture and infrastructure, new software packages and things like that. Then finally they use the CRM matrix, and there they look at it the cost of that employer model. I mean entire CRM activity, how much they're going to cost, how much you generate through that cost is basically how much of loyalty you're going to generate and things like that. That what you call the CRM matrix. So this is very simply if I explain to you what is these models. So different models is these models are basically provide a guideline. Remember, these are not models you organizations need to apply. So these five models will tells you if your organization, remember, if your organization want to implement a CRM, right, incorporate CRM into your business. Now these are the models you can use it, right? So whatever the method you can use it, right? Started with very simple methods, right? And out of all these five methods and lot of CRM organization, I mean the people who are uh, apply the CRM models into their business activities uh, use the pain froze five-step model, right? So five process model is the most suitable for especially for banks and other institutions to use. This is identical model. If a bank want to use the CRM strategy or CRM management into the business, you may use it the pain and froze model, because it's explained all the aspects of your normal business, right? Starting from strategy development. So your CRM is they are linking to the basically linking to the business process, right? So that's what they are little they are very much interesting. Then so how they use the value creation, right? So we discussed in detail last week how you add values to your product and services, value proposition, because people are buying value, right? So every organization keep on add value. So therefore, they concentrating on value process, right? So how can organization add value? Then so they are using multi-channel integration approach. So that means so how we are going to communicate with your customers, right? So you may using um, lot of methods available for you to communicate. Then the next one is performance assessment process. So how this CRM model benefited you, right? Now through through evaluations of processes like from the shareholders point of view, and the performance for an organization, right? They look at it all the aspects. Basically, in the last process, we call the information management process, where how can we use these gathered information for identify the customer, so identify the insight of the customer, right? So it's basically the analytical CRM, right? So therefore, what we have learned, you may apply in more or less that four-stage model, the five-stage model, where uh, you can basically introduce CRM into your organization, right? So that's simply touch on the CRM model. What you don't want to know much on that, but for you to get an understanding about, there are some CRM model which make use of to implement the CRM in your organization. That's give you some sort of a guideline. There may be having advantages and disadvantages of each model, but as I explained to you, a pain model is the ideal model for any organizations want to implement. Right. So with this small note, so I'm going to wind it up the corporate banking. Right now, uh, so we discuss if you
Sir,
uh,
excuse me, sir.
summarize. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Is pain and gross pose model also that is the most suitable for banking? Is
Yeah, that's what. Now these are the model, and this is the model heavy used by now. Okay. Now Now, if you really look at it, I don't have a time also to go through everything, but then certain organization are use these stages very well. Some organization use the, for an example, these strategy development process, right? So they will very strongly use their businesses, like how they develop the strategy, how they link the strategy to the CRM models, right? Because business strategy and the customer strategy. Now, customer strategy mean in order to achieve the your business strategy, how you use your CRM, how you use your customer strategy. For that, so you can use the CRM, because always remember your business strategy is your strategy plan is number one, right? In order to achieve a strategy plan, all the other plans, maybe finance plan, maybe HR plan. So this CRM is another strategy which support your business strategy, right? So that is why the strategy development process identifying the customer strategy and the business strategy, right? What is business industry? Now you need to look at it your industry as. That is why we learn about the industry. What is the market positions about the banking competitive characteristics? So you need to know about your business strategy. Now business strategy data we learn about how many banks in Sri Lanka, what are the strategies they are using, what are the market share, all things we comes under business strategy, right? Then the customer, how you make use of our customers to achieve our um, business strategy, right? Then you look at it, the second one is a co-creation, the value customer, what expecting by having value creations, how we what are the receipt of the customer and what are the receipt of the organization. Both need to be benefited. No, while you're satisfying your customers, keep on adding value. Then what is the contribution is come to the bank or to the organization, right? So that's those are strategic CRM, or what you call collaborative CRM, right? So how you're going to execute that? Now, say if we learn about SFA, right? Can remember we learn about Salesforce automation, right? So what sort of information you gathered, that is a multi-channel integration process, right? And performance evaluation. And the last one, analytical, right? So what are the data, how we are using, mining the data and all under, we learn under analytical stage. Are the some part,
okay,
okay?
sir. Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, now, so what we learn from the very first day, and we discuss about the what is the what is relationship, and we discuss in detail. Then uh, we discuss how a CRM is evaluation, and then we discuss why we need to apply CRM today. We learn a little bit of relationship strategies, and we discuss about marketing strategies, and we discuss about how the marketing evolved, and then we discuss about the how CRM have a competitive edge over others, because competitive edge now no more is there, because anybody can copy. So that is why we need to move from CRM. So then that's the first day, and the second day we may discuss about the importance of add values to the how important the customer value proposition. So what is value, and how you create a value, what are the methods, what are the strategies, and these things we discuss under customer value proposition, value and customer value proposition. So today we discuss about customer experience, right? So another important area, touch points, and then moment of truth and engagement. How people get involved in that. Now you see, if you I can if you look at it, if you theme park, right? They have identified in the theme park, that is Disneyland, there are 75 customer touch points. So these organization, each and every 75 touch point, right? They will try to give a good experience to the customer. Every time you meet any point or getting involving in the organization, they provide a very good experience to the customer. That means basically, okay, if I going to look at it, say some information. Now think about the the a person is going for a movie. First, they want to book the place, right? Then, so when your reservation, how easy to book the buy a ticket. Then we go to the cinema hall. What is the arrangement? So while we are seeing the film, what is the environment, what is the sound, right? At the interval, he want to eat something. So how we facilitate at the end, all things we look at it, right? So like bank, customer enter into the bank to do something, till such time go out from the bank, and what is the every touch point, right? So try to improve, right? For that, what you can do. Okay, so some methods we discuss, some traditional method we discuss, and we discuss also the more on a more predicted new methods, use of technology and the digitalization. Then we discuss how you use the gig experience. Now, with your staff, you may not in a position to provide full custom experience. So therefore, today there is a tendency people to go, and gig economy mean you are getting the other peoples to do the job, like outsourcing something, right? But through the gig economy, now say for an example, uh, I will tell you a good example is Uber, right? Now, you see the company is obtaining the outsources, right? People out from there, there's no any organization, they get everybody to involve in this business. So therefore, organizations cover wide area, right? Enough people, no manpower problem, right? No manpower. If you do it your own, how much of problem you are facing, right? Supply, right? You need to get people to do the delivery and all. Now, here's no delivery, right? So customer experience by provided by other people, behalf of the organization. Of course, some organization need to give you some sort of a training. That is why now organization look at it. Can we apply internal people, internal employees act as a gig employee, right? So they are giving more opportunities, flexible working hours, work at home. So they thought they may have an income, extra income, and they work better than while they're employed, right? That is what you call gig experience. And then we discuss the finally the models, how models will help you to provide the customer CRM uh, in a real life situation. Right. So anything, any areas you like to, we'll give you two questions, right? I'll give you two questions. Now, if you have your exam paper, uh, of course, it's very simple, straightforward. එම නේද සම්පත් ලේසියිනේ කෑලි කෑලි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මොන හරි පොඩ්ඩක් හරි දැනගත්තා නම් ලියන්න තිබ්බා. Now, how you want, what area you want? Any specific area you need to share with me, ask question? Hmm? No area. Any area you like it. හරිද? එහෙමද ඕනි? මොනවා හරි අහන්න ඕනනම් කියන්න ඉතින්. ඔයාලට chance එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා ඔයගලන්ට. Hmm? Which area you like to learn, පුතා? Hmm? Which area, Sampath, you have any specific area?
This
You like?
CRM models,
Huh?
CRM, these today discuss CRM models. Sometimes
You like that? Okay. So,
yes, okay.
Hari, it's okay. So we don't worry. So I don't want to put you into big questions, but there are two questions, right? And easy to, I will now, your exam is 4th, no? I told you, right? It was there. So I have to give you a paper yet, not given. So there are 40 marks, right? So if you cover this area, but better to cover the entire area, and right, not much, no? පොඩ්ඩයි නේ තියෙන්නේ. එච්චර ගොඩක් නෑනේ නේද? Right. So with this thing, I'll stop today and we may finish the entire corporate banking. I think you may learn other things as well, right? Under this thing, under corporate banking, the relationship with some area. Right. Then thank you very much, Sampath and others. You were there for the last 3 weeks or so, and I think I hope you got something out of that's a new area, and we'll see you some other day for some other
So
subject.
can we have your contact number, sir?
Yeah, my number is not 777 Puta, not 777 864 202. Not 777 864 202.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, right. If you have any problem, just call me and I will. If I'm not answer, please send me a SMS. I will answer. Okay. හරිද? චමින්ද හරිද? ඔබඩු.
Okay, sir. So, what is the convenient time to contact you, sir?
Anytime you put me a SMS, I will call if I not answer. Right?
Okay.
Sir,
Right.
can I have
Okay.
the number again?
Not 777
Okay.
864 202 Puta.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. See you.
See
Have
you,
a
sir.
nice.
Bye.
One day you become GOs, COs, huh? Right? Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Now,
sir.
right. Now you know, in the new in green banking, these now they are going to the banks going to appoint chief. We have a chief relations, chief chief financial officer, chief risk officer, like that. No, chief climate officer. Right now, the bank is going to appoint another position. So he, whatever you produce, whatever you develop, right, whatever the products you develop, you have to be environmental friendly. That's a new post. A lot of Western bank, because of this these days, the climate meeting is taking place now. So they are suggesting to bank to have a chief climate officer or somebody, right? and he's responsible, like risk officer responsible for risk and compliance relating to looking after the compliance issues. Likewise, there's a guy, now CIO, we have a chief information officer, chief financial officer, and there's another guy we call chief climate officer or somebody, and he will look after all these banks. They have to ensure that are compliant to climate issues. There's, you gave a loan and not tarnish or not damage any environmental impact on that, right? Okay, just new things. It was published in yesterday's IMF report, the new position banks were supposed to do, right? Right. I don't know how long it will take to Sri Lanka, but that's what this suggesting. Okay, thank you again. Have a nice life in your career.